Hello and welcome to K News. This is Hardik Trivedi. Let's have a look what is happening in India and in the world. Attacking China for its aggressive moves against its neighbors, including instigating a deadly confrontation with India in eastern Ladakh. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that Beijing cannot threaten countries and bully them in Himalayas. Speaking at a news conference in London on Tuesday, Pompeo said China was one of the important parts of his discussions with his British counterpart, Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab. Pompeo's comment on Chinese bullying of its Himalayan neighbors came in response to a question if the US would like the UK to do more to confront China. We talked about how we have seen Hong Kong's freedoms crushed. We have watched the CCP bully its neighbors, militarize features in the South China Sea, and instigate a deadly confrontation with India. Pompeo said, the troops of India and China are locked in a standoff in several areas along the LAC in eastern Ladakh since May 5. The situation deteriorated last month following the Galwan Valley clashes that left 20 Indian Army personnel dead. China recently staked claim over the Sektang Wildlife Sanctuary in Bhutan at the Global Environment Facility Council and opposed funding to the project. US President Donald Trump raised a whopping US $20 million during his first ever virtual fundraiser, his campaign said. Over 3 lakh donations contributed to this virtual fundraiser hosted on Tuesday by President Donald J. Trump and Trump Victory Finance Committee National Chair Kimberly Guilfoyle. A statement said, Trump Victory's groundbreaking fundraising record proves the American people are passionate about gaining 4 more years under President Trump's strong leadership. Across the nation, the silent majority are coming together to donate their valuable time and hard-earned money to help make this president's re-election a reality, Guilfoyle said in a statement. The most important measures of success in this race is enthusiasm, and the enthusiasm from President Trump's supporters cannot be matched, she said. Trump is being challenged by former Vice President Joe Biden from the Democratic Party in the November 3 presidential elections. As a result of the coronavirus pandemic, Biden has been holding most of fundraising virtually from his residence in Delaware. But for Trump, who is seeking re-election for his second 4-year term, this was his first virtual fundraiser. BSP Chief Mayawati on Wednesday said crime virus spread by criminals is more active than coronavirus in Uttar Pradesh. The way heinous crimes like murder and those against women are continuing unabated, it is clear that the instead of law and order, Jungle Raj is prevailing in Uttar Pradesh. Crime virus of criminals is more active than the coronavirus in UP. People are fed up and the government must address this issue, Mayawati said in a tweet in Hindi. Former Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister did not mention any specific incident in her post. However, the Bahujan Samaj Party chief's tweet came hours after a Ghaziabad-based journalist who was shot in the head by some assailants succumbed to injuries early Wednesday. Vikram Joshi had lodged a complaint with police alleging harassment of his niece on July 16 and was shot at around 10:30 p.m. on Monday near his home in Vijayanagar area. The Supreme Court on Wednesday issued notices to Attorney General K.K. Venugopal and Advocate Prashant Bhushan on the contempt proceedings it has initiated against the activist lawyer for his alleged derogatory tweets against the judiciary. The apex court directed that Twitter Inc. be made a party instead of Twitter India. To the contempt proceeding, it has initiated suo motu and asked the US-based firm to file a response in the matter. A bench headed by Justice Arun Mishra was told by the Twitter's counsel that if the top court directs, then they would disable the alleged contemptuous tweets of Bhushan. The bench, which asked the Attorney General to assist in the matter, has posted the case for hearing on August 5. The allegedly contemptuous tweets were critical of the top court and posted by Bhushan on Twitter on June 27 and June 29. The political crisis in Rajasthan reached the Supreme Court on Wednesday, with Assembly Speaker C.P. Joshi filing a special leave petition against a High Court order that asked him to decide the disqualification notices he had issued to the group of 19 lawmakers led by Sachin Pilot. In his petition, Joshi called the order illegal, perverse, and in derogation of the powers of the Speaker. The proceedings under the 10th schedule before the Speaker are proceedings of the legislature and as such cannot interfere with, as repeatedly held by his Honorable Court, as envisaged under Article 212, read with para 6/2 of the 10th schedule, the Speaker said in his petition. The High Court's order restrained the Speaker from even calling and conducting the disqualification proceedings pending against the respondents till July 24, the petition said. The petition further stated that the High Court order violated Kyoto Holohan case decided by the Supreme Court in 1992. In that case, a constitution bench of 5 judges expressly held that courts cannot interdict the Speaker from proceeding ahead at the quietima stage, that is, apprehension of injunction. The High Court had on Tuesday told the Speaker not to move forward on the disqualification notices till Friday, when the judges are expected to deliver its ruling. Sachin Pilot and 18 lawmakers close to him were issued disqualification notices last week on a complaint from the Congress that has accused them of trying to topple the Ashok Gehlot government. Joshi had announced his decision to move the Supreme Court at a press conference on Wednesday, where he warned that they were heading for a constitutional crisis. I do not want a confrontation. I respect the judges, but the rules are well defined, Joshi had told reporters. As 4 Indian naval ships participated in a 2-day joint exercise with the American supercarrier USS Nimitz of the Andaman coast this week. Another supercarrier USS Ronald Reagan teamed up with navies of Australia and Japan to carry out a similar exercise 4,000 kilometers on the mouth of the contested South China Sea. The official statements on the exercises did not claim China, that has been trying to throw its weight around its neighbors. It did not have to, as the danger is clear and present, with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi clearly stating this week that Beijing was moving to the center of the globe, in effect expounding the Middle Kingdom concept. The United States has emerged as the bulwark against China in the South China Sea and beyond, deepening the partnerships with countries in Asia, Europe and Australia to secure Indo-Pacific from a bellicose China. The two exercises make it evident that India will be the principal ally to US in securing Indian Ocean region while Japan and Australia will be key to protecting Pacific region. The message that put China at the center of the United States' focus was reinforced by US Defense Secretary Mark Esper late on Tuesday. Esper explained the presence of the US supercarriers in and around the South China Sea, which irks Beijing, to back up the sovereignty of friends and partners and to reassure them that we will be there to defend those things in the face of China's bad behavior. 3 foreign experts were injured in an explosion which occurred near Oil India Limited's gas well number 5 at Bagjan in Assam's Tinsukia district on Wednesday. The incident occurred when operations to douse the fire at Bagjan oil field was going on. The operation has been halted now, Trideep Hazarika, the spokesperson of Oil India Limited, said. 3 foreign experts who were at the site are injured. They have been rushed to the hospital, Hazarika said. The damaged gas well is sweeping gas uncontrollably for 56 days since a blowout. An uncontrolled release of gas and oil condensate took place on May 27. 2 firefighters of oil also died at the site then. Over 9,000 people have been shifted to relief camps since the blowout at the well. It caught fire on June 9. Foreign experts brought in to put out the fire and plug the blowout were expected to complete the task by July 7, but flood caused by the heavy rain inundated the area near the well and damaged roads and a bridge leading to the site, affecting work for several days. There are 17 oil and 5 gas wells in the Bagjan oil field. Last month, the NGT constituted an 8-member committee of experts to probe the blowout, subsequent fire and the damage it has caused to humans, wildlife and environment. The Bharatiya Janata Party leadership in Delhi has created a raid raj and is using federal agencies to arm twist lawmakers to bring down the Ashok Gehlot government, the Congress said on Wednesday, after the Enforcement Directorate carried out raids at premises of the Rajasthan Chief Minister Gehlot's brother. The raids are said to be linked to investigations into money laundering charges against Agrasen Gehlot into what has been described as a fertilizer scam. Congress leader Randeep Singh Surjewala, who has been camping in Jaipur to help the Gehlot government survive a rebellion led by the former Deputy Chief Minister Sachin Pilot, said the latest round of raids were ordered by the BJP leadership after 3 previous attempts to arm twist Congress leaders and lawmakers did not succeed. The emperors in Delhi believed that they can crush any government at any point of time, Surjewala said. When the BJP's attempt did not succeed, the central agencies were called in to help out. The first round started on July 13, when the BJP started executing its plan to dislodge the Ashok Gehlot government. Income tax officials had carried out raids on 3 business groups and individuals. Those raids targeted Rajiv Arora of Amrapali Jewels, who is also the Vice President of Rajasthan Congress, Dharmendra Rathore and Ratankant Sharma, who owns the Fairmount Hotel on the outskirts of Jaipur, when the Congress has sequestered its lawmakers. It's time for a short break. We'll join you in a short while.
Wasabi of Tundi fan with the cooler number 1. Take a chase, go more fun in the cooler number 1. Take a don't run from the sun, take the number 1. पर जैसे कोई सपना सुहाना, दीवाना दीवाना
कटारिया टाइल्स, जो देखे वो दीवाना।
Welcome back to K News and thank you for watching. Let's continue the streak of news. The US ordered China to shut its consulate general in Houston City, Beijing said on Wednesday, adding that it was an unprecedented escalation in Washington's recent actions against China and warned of legitimate and necessary response against the decision. The dramatic development is sure to further sour the rapidly deteriorating bilateral ties with the two countries, already at loggerheads over South China Sea disputes. The Hong Kong Security Bill, US arms sales to Taiwan, the condition of minorities in Xinjiang, and the origin of the coronavirus, besides an ongoing trade war. Earlier on Wednesday, Yu Shijin, the editor of the Communist Party's newspaper, said Washington has given 72 hours to Beijing, that is by July 24, to close down the Houston consulate. Yu's tweet came hours after Houston police and firefighters descended on the consulate following witness reports that papers were being burned outside in open containers. The Houston Chronicle and two local TV stations reported, citing local police. In Beijing, the Chinese Foreign Ministry lashed out at the Donald Trump administration for passing the order. It is a political provocation unilaterally launched by the US side, which seriously violates international law, basic norms governing international relations, and the bilateral consular agreement between China and the US. The Enforcement Directorate has filed a money laundering case in the Kerala gold smuggling scandal. The ED is the third agency to launch an investigation in the scandal after Customs and National Investigation Agency. However, a money laundering probe will be different from other investigations. It will allow the ED to attach properties of accused people and investigate shell companies if found involved in smuggling of gold. The case came to light after the Customs Department seized 30 kilograms of gold from a consignment that came in the name of an official of the UAE consulate in Thiruvananthapuram on July 5. On July 9, the Union Home Ministry asked the NIA to probe the racket. The haul of 30 kg gold is said to be worth rupees 15 crore. The NIA has arrested 4 people, including the 2 key accused Swapna Suresh and Sandeep Nair, and Customs 13 in connection with the case so far. Sarith PS was the first accused who was arrested by the Customs Department. The NIA had last week approached Interpol seeking a blue notice against Faisal Farid, a Dubai-based person named as an accused in the Kerala gold smuggling case. The agency found that Farid had forged the documents, seal and emblem of the UAE embassy to ensure diplomatic protection for the baggage, and the gold was to be used for terror activities. 2 senior officials, the CM's principal secretary M. Shivshankar and IT fellow Arun Balchandran, were removed after their name cropped up, and many others are under the scanner now. Capital Markets Regulator SEBI has imposed penalties totaling rupees 50 lakh on 8 entities for their failure to make proper disclosures regarding their shareholdings in PSIT Infrastructure and Services Limited. The watchdog's order came after an investigation conducted by it into the PSIT matter for May 2012 to July 2015 period. Fines ranging from rupees 3 lakh to rupees 9 lakh have been imposed on 8 entities. They are Bridgedam Dilcom, Compass Distributors, Conquer Barter Private Limited, Economy Sales Private Limited, Mayurpank Winco Private Limited, Miracle Tradecom, Narayan Suppliers and Prem Sagar Vinimay Private Limited, as per the order dated July 21. During the probe, it was found that pursuant to the arrangement involving merger of Crescent Digital Technologies Limited and Swift IT Infrastructure and Services Limited with PSIT on June 5, 2013, the 8 entities had acquired shares of PSIT under the promoter category. They were required to make disclosures about their shareholding data to the company as well as stock exchange, but failed to do so. Further, the entities had acquired shares on July 12, 2013 and were required to disclose to PSIT within 2 days about the number of shares or voting rights held by them in the company pursuant to scheme of amalgamation. However, those disclosures were also not made by the entities, according to SEBI. Gold prices soared Wednesday, hitting a record high of rupees 50,010 per 10 gram in India, as the yellow metals appeal as a hedge against inflation rose amidst expectations of more stimulus to boost economies of countries hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. This is the first time gold prices in India have touched rupees 50,000 in the futures market, as prices surged 1% or about rupees 500 in the previous session. September silver future on MCX jumped 6.6%, approximately rupees 3,400 per kg to rupees 61,130 per kilogram. European Union leaders on Tuesday sealed a 750 billion euro recovery plan, while White House officials and top congressional Democrats discussed a next round of relief that would include extended unemployment insurance and more money for schools. The Reuters poll showed that gold could push towards record highs over the next 18 months as the pandemic encourages investors to hold it as a hedge against possible turmoil in wider markets. But gold's price rise has dampened retail demand for the precious metal in India, the world's second largest consumer of the precious metal. The share of investment demand is less compared to retail purchases. India's gold imports in the June quarter plunged 96% from a year earlier to 13 ton after shipments virtually halted in April and May. Serum Institute of India on Tuesday said it will be starting trials of the COVID-19 vaccine candidate developed by Oxford University and AstraZeneca by the end of August on up to 5,000 Indian volunteers after getting the necessary nods, and launch the vaccine by June next year if all goes well. The Pune-based company's chief executive Adar Poonawala said the company, which is the largest vaccine maker in the world, is putting US dollars 200 million at risk by manufacturing nearly 300 million doses before the final nod to launch the vaccine in market, which is expected at best by the end of the year. Oxford University on Monday announced satisfactory progress with the vaccine, making it one of the leading ones among the dozens of vaccine candidates being developed around the world. The varsity has tied up with Serum Institute of India to manufacture and supply the vaccine to India and over 60 other countries having a combined population of 3 billion, Poonawalla said. As part of the special permission, the company will manufacture 70 million doses of the vaccine per month up to October and plans to take it up to 100 million per month by December, so that it is ready to hit the market once the final approvals are in place. Sachin Pilot, accused of conspiring horse trading on behalf of the BJP to pull down the Ashok Gehlot government, has taken the allegations head-on, demanding that one of his accusers pay a 1 rupee compensation and issue a written apology. In a legal notice, Mr. Pilot said his Congress MLA Giriraj Singh Malinga made the accusation with a view to tarnish his image and extract political mileage. Mr. Pilot, who is at the heart of the crisis in Rajasthan, went on the raft after being investigated into the alleged horse trading by the BJP ahead of the Rajya Sabha elections. His former boss Ashok Gehlot claimed he has the evidence of Mr. Pilot's involvement in horse trading and deal making. Earlier this week, Mr. Malinga suggested that he was the evidence. I had discussion with Sachin Pilot. He spoke to me and said, "How much do you want?" He told me rupees 35 crore. Mr. Malinga told reporters on Monday, claiming Mr. Pilot has spoken to him 2 or 3 times about this since December. Mr. Malinga said, "This has been happening since December. I told them I cannot do this." Mr. Pilot, who has been stripped of his posts in the government and the party and is battling disqualification proceedings in court, had called the allegations concocted and vexatious. He earlier said the allegations about his links with the BJP were a rush to malign him to the Gandhis. The Congress had scoffed at the claim, pointing out that despite party orders, he is still holed up in the BJP-ruled state with 18 MLAs supporting him. Equity benchmarks S&P, BSE Sensex and NSE Nifty 50 snapped their 5-day winning streak on Wednesday as rising COVID-19 cases dented investors' sentiment. The Sensex fell as much as 329 points and Nifty 50 touched an intraday low of 11,057. Infosys, Hindustan Unilever, HDFC Bank, Tata Consultancy Services, L&T and Kotak Mahindra were among the drags on the Sensex. The Sensex ended 59 points lower at 37,872 and Nifty 50 index declined 30 points to close at 11,133. Meanwhile, 7 of 11 sector gauges complied by the National Stock Exchange ended lower, led by the Nifty PSU Bank indexes over 1.5% fall. Auto, Information Technology, Realty and FMCG indexes also ended lower 0.8 to 1% each. Mid and small cap shares ended on a flat note. Nifty Mid Cap 100 index rose 0.1% and Nifty Small Cap 100 index ended little changed. Hero MotoCorp was top Nifty loser. The stock fell 3.3% to close at rupees 2,774. Hindustan Unilever, Bharat Petroleum, Tata Motors, Tata Steel, Shree Cements, IndusInd Bank and Maruti Suzuki also ended on a weak note. On the other hand, Axis Bank surged over 7% after its asset quality improved in quarter ended June 30. Titan, Power Grid, Z Entertainment, NTPC, ITC, Reliance, Vedanta and UPL were also among the gainers. Overall market breadth was negative as 1499 shares closed lower on the BSE, whereas 1145 ended higher. That's all for now. Keep watching K News. This is Hardik Trivedi taking your leave. Be alert, be positive, be safe.